maybe it's just me. It's more and more light as these videos go on. It seems like it gets brighter. I'm looking at the monitors. I'm thinking, it doesn't even look real. It's so bright. I actually have less light running here these days. We used to actually use spotlights for the Merle and Stone channel. So, let's see. People are talking about on the weekends, hard to get available. So all the research during the week, going into right now. So someone asked, well, aren't you posting anything about that? Because nobody cares. But it came up, am I reading any things that are interesting, harder to come by sources? I was like, yeah, of course. So if it's mainstream, it's probably not worth a damn. I don't know. So, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law, right? Love is the law, love under will. So wrote Aleister Crowley as being the creed of the predominating energy that would influence every man and woman for the next era or eon. And they say 2155 years. And some Mesopotamian records, like Sitchin, say 2160 years per cycle. So, however, this comprehensive statement becomes very misunderstood. Anyways, the will is the identifying purpose unique to each individual. It is the cause and purpose of the individual soul. It is the divine mold that is the real and omnipotent person. Being the essence of the soul, it has a very invincible power. Actually, the will contains the source of one's power. Will is the place each person has in the master plan. It is never the same for any two people, just as two people never have identical fingerprints, they do not share a life path one-to-one. Yet collectively, all wills comprise a greater supreme will. Each will is like the prismatic colors that make up one light. The great work is then the discovery of the true will by removing the seeker's obstacles. The will exists before incarnation, and a particular incarnation is chosen to complete past karma. That is the path work that one has to do, not necessarily a moral policeman the way some envision. The will is deeper than the intellect and the learned behavioral influences of parents, peers, medias, programs. The illusory self, or ego, has been formed by influences. Each person, for each, the lessons or obstacles are different. For example, some people rise above poor environment and others succumb to it. Some allow handicaps to restrict them and others become liberated as a result. The source of obstruction can be very sublime. What is constructive for one person may actually interfere with the will of another, therefore becoming destructive, or what is commonly called evil. Now, a child has natural artistic tendencies from birth, but his father so influences him into one way or another, such as to become a lawyer, the child doesn't necessarily see his natural calling. He goes on to be his father's creation, and may even be a fine, successful lawyer. He may also learn other qualities of life, standards of happiness that are concurrently taught to him. However, in doing so, he misses the experience of uniting with his own spirit. Legend calls the misconception of one's will the fall, and this is what separates man from God. Man is assigned to a higher, not perfect, state. Unity is the sweet taste of being one with God that man once knew, that drives him to evolve back to that state. So now, Aleister Crowley continues, every man and woman is a star. Well, collectively, each person in touch with his will is the state of universal harmony with the Creator itself. Once perfected, each individual would be like a star traveling its own orbit, not intersection with any other, functioning perfectly and as a whole organism. Who am I? Why did I choose to be born here? How does my past influence my present circumstances? What is my purpose, my true self? What are my roles? What is my future? The answers to these questions is never just handed out, but must be reached through a process of what some have called enlightenment. To get in touch with your will, you must start by identifying what is not your will. As you strip away more and more of the intellectual illusion of the self and tame your ego, you will come closer to knowing your true purpose. The process is difficult and cannot be hurried. Love, as it said, oh man, can't even do that one with a straight face. Yeah, so that becomes the defining point of what separated most of it, is that love and God have been removed from the equation in most of these, and then therefore it's unfortunate, such as with one group. Okay, you know what? We will cover the topic of love in another one totally.